back to Irrelevant Bracks. This is episode 2.
Jeez. Yeah.
And today, what are we talking about today, James?
We are telling people about our favorite parts about South Africa.
Why we
love South Africa.
Why we love the beautiful
because
country of South
we do
Africa.
kind of live here.
We do kind of live here. only like two hours a day do we live in South Africa. But I think also, obviously, I think a lot of people, their kind of understanding of South Africa, if they're not from here, is safari and maybe the winelands.
Yeah, so guys, like just by the way, we don't ride elephants to school and to work, and there's no lions running in our streets. It is fairly built up and civilized enough for us to like live.
But there's also a lot of elements of the country that's more than just the safari side of things in terms of natural beauty and nature and plants, animals, all those lovely things. Do you want to start or should I start?
Yeah, I've got a short little piece I'll start with.
Cool.
South Africa is a small little country. If you didn't guess already, it's at the very southernmost part of Africa. Yeah, funnily enough, we actually have two countries within our borders, Lesotho and Eswatini. Yeah, 60 million people live here. Funnily enough, that's a lot of people, and as I even said before, people have this belief that the wildlife is in the cities and all that stuff, but it really isn't. The accessibility to wildlife is one of my favorite parts about living here, and that's purely because it is available. We've got 19 national parks. 19 national parks.
That's national, so that's not even
South
including
Africa.
all the private.
Yeah, so that's literally just
Kruger, Pilanesberg. Yeah.
And I mean, several of which of those have the big five as well, of course.
Cape
Point, where I can go see elephants.
Because
they're my favorite thing.
Where you can see elephants. Oh, for those that don't know, in South Africa we have something known as the Big Five. So the Big Five are like the 5 most important. I don't know.
I think it's genuinely just like the biggest, most dangerous animals to encounter. It's kind of like a bucket list for when people come visit South Africa. So you always want to see the Big Five on one trip.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It's elephants, duh. Buffalo, which are some funky looking boys with some American president looking hair. Their horns kind of look like old white men in wigs, but it's great. Rhino. I always think it's hippos.
Lion
and leopard.
Yeah.
Leopard people often misunderstand, and leopards are a lot more dangerous than people think they are because they look small and cute.
I was gonna say, so like for the American people, a leopard is a really small jaguar.
But they're
very dangerous.
They are vicious, and they are They are one of the best cat hunters, as far as I know. And they're very, very clever hunters, and they are very territorial, and they will F you up if you get close to them. And in fact, a lot of farmers there's an area just north of Johannesburg called Magaliesburg, and there's a lot of leopards in the mountains there. And a lot of the farmers are very cautious of the leopards because they are quite dangerous. But those are the Big Five. If you ever come on a safari, the place that most people go is Kruger National Park. It's the most famous one. If you ever come on a safari to Kruger National Park, those are the 5 that you want to see. Yeah. And you will be very lucky if you see all of them. But it's not a common occurrence.
It's not very common.
Yeah.
You'll always miss one. For some reason, I had a lot of trips where I saw 4 of them.
Yeah.
But not all 5.
Usually leopard. Leopard's a bit elusive. It's difficult. Leopard, you either will see it like over there, or it'll be like in a tree and you nearly miss it or nearly hit it. I would say you're more likely to see lion than you are to see leopard.
Funny enough, I saw a lot more leopard than lion. Up until I saw my first lion, I was just seeing leopard. And I just, everyone was like, oh, I went to this park and I saw like a pride of 10 lions. I'm like, really? I want to see lions too, Because it was something I didn't see for a long time. But then there was one trip where I saw lions, and that was the trip I didn't see leopard.
Yeah, I think what I was thinking for this episode is we'll pop a couple of photos on the Instagram of kind of things we've seen in South Africa that link to what we're talking about today. If you're a listener and you don't want to go through the hassle of researching all of the plants or animals or whatever that we're talking about, I will post, or James will post because he manages the Instagram.
Yeah.
I will post photos of all of the plants in order of what we spoke about on the Instagram with a little caption of what
Yeah, I was
plant
gonna say
it is.
we'll put a label and maybe a little caption saying these are all the photos from episode 1.
Yeah.
Just something simple, yeah.
So that
you guys can see.
You can see, and it's much easier for you to find it rather than you going and Googling yourself. I'm going to
For
talk
the
about
first one.
one of my favorite places in South Africa, which is a very famous place in South Africa. It is known to most people as the Fynbos or Cape Town. The botanical term for the area, which is much more than just Cape Town, is the Cape Floristic region, also known as Floral Capensis.
Okay.
That's a fancy term for it. Basically, the world is broken down into 6 floral kingdoms, or 6 kind of large areas of consistent plants.
Okay.
Is that a good way to put it?
I guess so. It's bigger than a biome.
It's bigger than a biome.
So it's like you say, very large areas of like specific types of plants that you'll find in that large area.
There's 6 of them: Holoarctic, Paleotropical, Neotropical, Australian, Holo Antarctic or Antarctic, and then Cape Floristic region. The cool thing about the Cape Floristic region, and I don't think a lot of people understand this until it's put into this kind of terms, it is the only kingdom in the entire world that is located in the borders of one country. The only one.
Okay. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go South Africa.
Let's go South Africa. It is also, from what I've
Nice.
heard, one of the most endemic and biodiverse regions. The Holoarctic, which is kind of in the northern parts of Europe, it's kind of a lot of those like dark forests, those sort of piney forests, is much less biodiverse than
the Cape Floristic region.
Cape Floristic region.
Okay.
Or the tropical regions tend to be more biodiverse than the Arctic and Antarctic regions. Even the Australian kingdom is not confined to the borders of one country, which is also quite interesting because it's known as the Australian.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of more.
I think it's also like
more
New
than
Zealand,
just Australia. Okay.
Some of the islands around there
Yeah,
part of it.
That's really cool though.
But yeah, it's the only kingdom that is contained in the borders of one country, which is so unbelievably cool. Here are some statistics. So there are
Some
stats. There are over 9,000 vascular plant species. Vascular plant species basically just mean like not algae or...
Well, they basically have vascular tissue.
Yeah, which is if it's got like a stem, it has vascular tissue. So moss and algae and lichen and stuff are not vascular plants, but they're part of the plant kingdom. Yes, so. Moss and algae.
Algae, yes, yeah.
And then so it depends on what you read, 69 to 70% of the plants are endemic. So endemic and indigenous are 2 different things. Indigenous means that it's originally from that country. So we are indigenous to South Africa. Okay, we're not actually. That's a lie. But... we're not actually indigenous to South Africa. But
I was about to be, what did you say?
Okay, but sorry, I was just thinking like we're from South Africa, but we're not originally from South Africa.
Not originally.
But it basically just means it's from that country. So
but it can be found elsewhere.
Yeah. So it can grow and be found elsewhere.
Yes.
Endemic means it is not found elsewhere. So everything that is endemic is also indigenous, but everything that is indigenous is not necessarily endemic.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And I have a fun fact about this. There is a very lovely tea called rooibos. In other parts of the world, because they don't speak Afrikaans or Dutch, it's known as redbush tea. Although I think sometimes they also do call it rooibos, but they pronounce it weirdly.
Yeah, anyway, I was gonna say.
I'll put a picture and the word on the screen. For those who are listening, it's spelled Rooibos. Rooibos. It just stands for red bush in Dutch, and it cannot be grown anywhere other than the Cederberg Mountains in South Africa at all.
That's why it's such a South African delicacy.
And they've also like literally tried to grow it in other places of the same like soil and climate. It just does not grow.
Doesn't work. Okay.
There's a region I think in California that is quite similar, like vibes to conditions.
Yeah.
Vibes. That's a very scientific word.
Very similar vibes, guys.
To that area, and it just will not grow.
That's crazy.
So it's very cool.
I've always wondered why, because obviously, like rooibos is so common to us, because it's literally
many of us had it in our baby bottles.
Yeah, I was gonna say like. When you have tea, normally people think of rooibos.
Yeah.
In South Africa, obviously. And you talk to people from other places and they're like, what on earth is rooibos? So it's really interesting to hear why.
Yeah. It's becoming a health fad. in other countries because
Okay.
it's got lots of antioxidants.
It's-
supposedly very
I
healthy.
mean, it's one of the only teas that doesn't have any caffeine in
yeah,
it.
it's caffeine free. So in a lot of the kind of like wellness spaces around the world, it's
Well, I
becoming
mean,
very popular. I know in Korea,
we give it
when
to our
I
babies.
went, when I went to Korea, it was like a very bespoke tea that you could get in like very fancy cafes.
Okay.
It's
That's obviously
nice.
because they imported.
Yeah, it's naturally sweet. I saw it in some grocery stores. It was so expensive. I was like, this is ridiculous. Rooibos is cheap as chips in South Africa.
Yeah.
Rooibos can't be grown anywhere else, and that is because it is endemic to the Cederberg Mountains, and it is part of the Cape Floristic region. The most part of the Cape Floristic region, it's broken down into 3 kind of biomes or areas, vegetation types, regions, which is the fynbos, the Renosterveld, and the Strandveld. So fynbos stands for fine bush in Afrikaans. Most of the internet will tell you Dutch, but they're wrong. Actually, they're not, but it's Afrikaans to us. The most common thing that most people will know from the fynbos is proteas. So proteas are a funky looking flower. They've got kind of sort of spiky pink petals and then like a comb with like feathery styles. Yeah, this one I'm gonna say, guys, either go look at the Instagram or look it up. It is very difficult. It's not like
the protea.
It looks like a Jurassic World flower.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it could come out of some crazy movie about the Ice Age or whatever. It does look prehistoric.
Yeah.
They are beautiful. They've also, similar to the wellness thing with rooibos, become very popular in weddings around the world. They get imported as well.
They must be expensive. Then.
They are very expensive, but they have become a wedding fad, if I'm not mistaken, in America and Europe. So a lot of people now have proteas in their bouquets. My mom and I sometimes watch wedding shows on like Netflix, and I've often seen them being like, "Oh, I want proteas. I want proteas." They're still very expensive in South Africa because again, they grow in a highly protected region.
Yeah.
The cutting of them is very, very restricted and controlled. They do not grow well elsewhere. Some cool facts about fynbos: it grows in incredibly nutrient-poor soils. Now, I was in Cape Town a while back. It is beautiful, the fynbos. It's incredible. You would think it is growing on the most nutrient-rich soils you've ever seen because it is so green and diverse and beautiful, and it's just incredible. And it's fire-prone shrubland, so we do get a lot of fires in fynbos. Unfortunately, it's been burning more regularly than it's supposed to because people think it's funny to set nature reserves on fire. Don't know why. So some of it's negligence, like fireworks and cigarettes being... Please never ever throw out a cigarette if you are dumb enough to smoke.
Okay.
if you smoke, I'm kidding, guys. Not really. If you smoke and you are in a natural space, do not throw your cigarette out. Because even if you think it's out, that little bit of heat on very dry plant matter will set it alight. Like no tomorrow. The wildflowers in Los Angeles have just been happening. It's really bad. Please don't do it. Don't settle fireworks in nature reserves. Make sure you put out fires properly if you're camping. Pour water on them. Don't stamp them out. Pour water on them. And definitely don't start fires for arson reasons. We had really bad fires in Cape Town 2 years ago, and that was unfortunately arson. Somebody willingly set it alight, which is terrible. But yeah, it's meant to burn between every 6 to 8 years. It's been burning about every 2 years, which is a problem because it can't recover properly. But yeah, it is fire prone, which is very cool. And a lot of the plant species there cannot flower without fire, or they cannot produce seeds without fire.
Yeah, I remember learning about those.
So they either can't flower. There's something called a fire lily. Very cool. Image on screen, image on Instagram. And it only flowers after a fire. So cool. And then it dies and will only re-sprout when there's another fire. Super, super cool.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it doesn't sprout again until there's another fire. Proteas, which are, as I said, are the most common most common plant in the fynbos, they cannot drop their seeds until there's flowers. So their seeds will sit on the plant, and then when there's a fire, they'll drop and they will start the germination process. So they can't reproduce.
That is really, really cool.
Without fire.
Definitely.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. But they're not actually proteas, not of the protea genus. But that's the Cape Floristic region, which is one of my favorite places in the world. If you ever have the wonderful opportunity to go to Cape Town, please do. The Fynbos is beautiful. You can hike up Table Mountain. You can go to Boulders Beach and look at penguins. That's a fun thing you can do. Yeah, it's a very, very cool part of the world.
Well, yeah, I guess I can build on from what you've just spoken about. One thing that I do love about being here is that we actually have some record-breaking biodiversity across the entire country. Just a few figures that I found online. Basically, South Africa covers 2% of the world's land surface. In that 2%, we have 10% of the bird, fish, and plant species of the world. We have 15% of the world's coastal marine species of animals and plants. And we have 7% of the world's mammal and reptile species. That's within our borders.
The coastal marine plant and animal species is crazy because we don't have a coral reef.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that because we've got both warm and cold currents touching our country. For those of you who don't know, we got the warm Agulhas current coming from the Indian Ocean on our east coast.
East coast, yes.
And on our west coast, then we've got the cold Benguela current coming from the Arctic.
Yeah, so, Antarctic.
The Antarctic. My bad. That's the Atlantic
That's also
Ocean.
why we have penguins.
So yeah. South Africa do actually have African penguins.
Yeah.
That do live on our coasts.
They're so cute, guys.
They're adorable.
Same though.
One of the countries in the world, I don't know how many.
15% of marine life.
And South Africa is also one of the only countries to integrate marine parks, what they call marine parks.
Okay.
We have 42 designated marine parks in our designated oceans.
Yeah.
So basically, these are protected areas inside the ocean that they use to promote awareness and enrich biodiversity. Yeah. So most of those areas, it's illegal to fish because it's used to make the fish.
Yeah. And I remember a couple of years ago, there was a stretch of, we had a lot of sperm whale fishing, hunting in South Africa back in like the early 1900s, and sperm whales nearly went extinct. They used to count them as they came. It was
the humpback whale.
Humpback whale. I lied. Not the sperm whale. Humpback whale. Excuse me.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so, they had they counted. I think there was only like 100 of them left.
So the thing is, the humpback whales migrate past South Africa. They don't necessarily come to like our beaches, but into our designated oceans. And I remember
they come up to the warm in the winter, and then they go back down to Antarctica in the summer.
So, yeah, I know what you're talking about, and it was where I think it literally went down to about 250 individuals that they counted in that little stretch.
Yeah.
But then, they put a ban on
hunting them, on fishing in those areas, on particular boats going through that.
And now there's over 100,000.
Yeah, there's over 100,000. How? And they've done it in like 5 years. It's insane.
I don't think it was that short a time. I think it's been a good couple more years, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's actually incredible.
It's incredible, and I think you have a point on it, because we did check with each other that we wouldn't have too much overlap about the conservation efforts in South Africa.
Well, yeah, that was part of the marine parks.
Yeah. Is amazing.
We have national parks, we have biosphere reserves, heritage sites, Ramsar sites, transfrontier parks, and marine parks here. Just to
conservation.
Explain what those are. Basically, a biosphere reserve is part of a UNESCO biosphere program. Now, UNESCO is the United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization of the world. And this area includes terrestrial, marine, as well as coastal ecosystems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that we have 5 of those is crazy. Then we also have World Heritage Sites. Now, these are cultural heritage sites which have great meanings in human history specifically.
Like we have just north of us, the Cradle of Humankind is a heritage site. Yeah, so the Cradle of Humankind, for a long time, the oldest like human specimen.
So yeah, we basically in that Cradle of Humankind we found some of the oldest human ancestor skeletons. So obviously that's why it's called the Cradle of Humankind. And then there's also the Stakfontein Caves. They also have some incredible human fossils there.
East, I think, of Cradle of Humankind.
Yeah, if you guys don't have the energy to come visit South Africa, on Netflix there is a documentary called Unknown Cave of Bones. That you can go check out, which is all about the Stakfontein Caves in South Africa.
There's also
specifically
another one for marine life, which is less of like a documentary about like our general population. There's a very famous movie, it was nominated for an Oscar if I'm not mistaken, called My Octopus Teacher.
Oh yeah,
which is about a guy in Cape Town who befriends an octopus.
So yeah, basically the Ramsar sites, we have 27.
Okay.
These are wetlands. that are designated for
Okay.
international protection.
Okay.
And they get the name because it's under what they call a Ramsar Convention. Now, the Ramsar Convention was a treaty signed internationally for environmental protection.
Okay. Didn't know about that one.
A Transfrontier Park,
Frontier Park.
which
Yeah.
is for some reason my favorite, is a conservation area for wildlife, but it crosses international boundaries.
Oh, so like into Botswana,
Yeah.
Namibia.
So the one that I can think of offhand is the Kalahari Transfrontier Park, which is South Africa, Namibia, Botswana.
Wow.
So it's basically run in 3 different countries and
That's
3
so
different
cool.
like areas. I thought that was absolutely
Sharing
amazing.
of resources.
Yeah.
And everything.
And obviously, all 3 countries have the same ideology of keeping that specific biodiversity up, which is great. Yeah.
I guess this links to it. South Africa, and I'm going to use America in context of this. James just mentioned how diverse we are. We actually have 9 biomes within the borders of South Africa. God, I hope I remember all of them. Fynbos, or Cape Floristic region. Succulent Karoo. Beautiful, beautiful area. If you can ever get there in September, it flowers during September, October. It's magnificent. The Namakuru, which is like a very dry, arid, not as pretty area. The Savannah biome, which is kind of the stock standard Lion King.
I was going to say,
safari.
when everyone thinks of Africa, they think of the savannah. It's
Then we
a whole
have
bunch of grass with a few trees and
Then we have grassland, which is like the beautiful, very green.
Just grass.
It's grass.
Pretty much.
Yeah, sometimes
But it's
wetland
beautiful.
regions. Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
Then we have thicket, which is like a bumbly or what's the word that I'm thinking? Like brambles.
Okay.
Brambles. Do you not know what brambles are? Am I saying that wrong? Maybe I'm saying that wrong. But brambles, like around the coast, it's very like a brambly area around the coast. It's lots of like thorny plants.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we have forest. I'm on 7. I'm missing some. What else do we have? Desert, Namakuru, Succulent Karoo, Fynbos, thicket, savanna, grassland, forest.
Sick.
Oh, very, very cool. Very distinctive. You
Yeah.
can literally, if you drive from one side of the country to the other or from top to bottom, you will go through multiple different vegetation types. You will see multiple different biomes. You will see vastly different plant life and animal life. It's incredible. For context, as I said, I was going to compare it to America. America is probably close to 20 times this. I think Texas is like 4 or 5 times the size of South Africa.
Jeez.
Yeah, you can drive from you can
Wow.
drive for 11 hours in Texas and still be in Texas.
Oh my greatness! Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
you
a
can
crazy
cover.
fact.
You can cover South Africa in.
Yeah.
12,
America
maybe
has
13
4
hours.
biomes.
America. Oh my goodness.
America has 4. We have 8 or 9.
8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah, because they break thicket into 2 different types of thicket.
That's crazy.
So yeah, America has 4 biomes. We have 9.
We have double.
We have double the amount of biomes that America has, and America is probably, I would say, probably close to 20 times the size of South Africa.
That's incredible.
Editing Anna here, double checked it. America is 8 times the size of South Africa, but it feels like it's 20 times the size of South Africa. Diversity galore. It's actually insane, and it is so beautiful. And even the ugly biomes are so distinct and beautiful and interesting. And Namakuru is not particularly pretty. It's pretty like...
I mean, to us.
To us, it's not particularly pretty.
But I'm pretty sure if tourists came and saw the Namakuru, they would like go crazy.
Another fun fact, the Namakuru inspired Lord of the Rings, where the spooky man lives. What's it called?
I don't know. I haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Is it Gondor? Mordor? I think it's Mordor. Mordor was actually based on the Namakuru.
Okay.
Because Tolkien grew up in the Free State in South Africa when he was a child.
That's amazing.
And then he moved to England. And so that is, yeah, but it's a crazy landscape. It's got these sort of like weird little mountains everywhere, and it's all like red dust sand, and it's got these like little bushes that look all dry and spooky. It's a very, very, very cool place. If you come to South Africa, you have to drive it. You cannot come here and not drive.
Yeah.
Because one of the best ways to see the country is to drive. Any others?
I got a few points here on the people.
Yeah.
the
it's got
people of
cool
South
people.
Africa. One of my favorite things is meeting people because everyone is so friendly to other South Africans.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 12 official languages,
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane.
Do you know all of them?
No. Do you think I wrote them down? No. There's 12. You think I'm gonna write them down? No.
I think I can remember all of them. I'm not gonna try.
Let's see if Mrs. Google can help us. So yeah, we got Afrikaans, English, Ndebele, Pedi, Sotho, sign language, the South African kind, Swati, Songa, Tswana, Venda, Xhosa, and Zulu.
Zulu is the most widely spoken language in South Africa, followed by English.
English, definitely. Yeah. Then here I've got a few random extras.
Cool.
One of them has nothing to do with nature, but I thought it was interesting.
Go for it.
Just about how unique South Africa actually is. The world's largest diamond was found here.
Yes.
In Cullinan.
In Cullinan,
and it was shipped to Britain.
And it
really irritating, but
yeah,
hey.
but it, actually, I don't know if you know this, but they told us at Cullinan it was one of the reasons South Africa got its independence.
Okay.
So we essentially bought our independence
with the world's largest diamond.
with a diamond.
No.
It was massive. It was like this big.
Yeah. So groot means big.
Sorry,
Afrikaans.
groot means big, and they then chopped it up into 14 smaller diamonds or 11 smaller diamonds. And it's the groot the groot diamond in the Queen's crown that like sits front and center. Yeah, that is from South Africa.
That's from South Africa.
Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah. South Africa is the world's largest platinum producer.
Yes, I did know that.
So I understand that apparently, like South Africa is one of the most mineral rich countries in the world.
We are one of the most natural resource.
Because we're in the top 5 for most of the minerals sold worldwide, which is insane.
Unfortunately, we don't manufacture any stuff. Which
I was gonna say the problem is that we sell it all. Yeah, we have all this stuff, but we sell it.
We could be the biggest manufacturing powerhouse in the world, but
we're not.
We're not. Fantastic. We'll get there one day. Okay. I hope.
Yeah, and then my last fact is a sport fact. Because I am sports crazy. Just that's
Rugby.
Me. Yes. Okay, so now we are one of 2 countries. So it's us and England are the only 2 countries in the world to host 3 World Cups of 3 different sports.
Oh wow!
So which is soccer, rugby, and cricket.
Oh yeah.
We did rugby in 1995, cricket in 2003, and soccer in 2010.
Yeah, the soccer one was spicy though. There's drama about us hosting it.
But that was great.
It was great.
Honestly, if I look at the economy and everything that happened from that 2010 World Cup, that was the best thing that could have happened to South Africa at the time. At the time.
At the time, yeah.
You know?
I wasn't here for it. I went to England and France because my parents figured out that it was actually cheaper to be in a foreign country than it was to be in South Africa. So.
Yeah. Rugby is really, really popular in South Africa. Just that the Springboks, which are our international rugby team,
are the only team to have won 4 rugby World Cups.
You see how she knows that, and she doesn't like sport.
I watched the Rugby World Cup. I don't like sport.
So yeah, that's South Africa. That's what we love. That's our personal what we love. In a
very, very, very small nutshell.
But we seriously hope that it inspires everyone from other countries to come and visit South Africa. And even if you are in South Africa and you haven't been around, go around. Yeah. Please do explore. Our country is beautiful.
Just do it, because there are very few places, if any other places in the world, where you can get our access to wildlife and plant life.
Of course,
and all of those things.
Definitely.
But now we have come to the end of episode 2.
Yeah, that's episode 2.
That's episode 2, guys. We have a couple of things to go through. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, this video, if you're liking this podcast, and you're watching it on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are listening on a podcast app, specifically Apple, Spotify podcast, please do leave us a 5-star review. If you don't want to leave us a 5-star review, or you don't think we deserve 5 stars, that is completely okay. But please leave us some constructive criticism.
Yeah, at least tell us why. So we can
grow. Don't just leave us a 1-star review and be like, it was kake. No, give us reasons that we can grow, okay? On top of that, if you would like to reach out to us, you can do so at irrelevantbracks@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So that is...
That's our email address.
How do you spell that? IRRELEPHANTBRACTS biomesfs@gmail.com. We are also going to be integrating a viewer stories section as we get more of them in.
But yeah,
so if you have a
that'll
funny
be
elephant, if you have a funny plant, if you have a funny animal story, if you want to tell us about something beautiful in your local country, an interesting plant, an interesting animal, please send us an email, share it with us. We will be trying to do it once a month. We'll see how many stories we get in. But yeah, you can send in videos as well, photos if you have. We will be very happy to receive them. If you just want to chat to us, you can. That's also fine. We also now have a TikTok and Instagram @irrelevantbrax. We would really appreciate if you follow.
Yeah, because we're going to share some funny stuff there. Probably some bloopers as well, actually.
Bloopers, yeah. And then we've decided to end episodes off with a question of the week. Oh my gosh, we need one from South Africa.
We need a
it's
question.
Fine, I'll come up with one right now because I'm super clever and super lovely. Basically, we will ask you a question like we will do now.
Yeah, at the end of the episode.
And then we will give you the answer in the following week. So you can leave your answer in the comments or put it on an Instagram post or whatever. So we spoke about the big 5. The little 5 are 5 very famous insects. Very cute ones as well. They're very sweet. I'm sorry, I have a weird definition of cute. I've been told many times. They are 5 very cute insects. And if you could name them, I guess that can be the question of the week. What are the little 5 in South Africa?
What are the little 5?
What are the little 5? And we will answer them next week.
Cool.
Okay, thanks guys for listening. Bye!